Hello everyone. In this lecture we will see some basic understanding of programming language, that is high level language, or you can say low level language. So in microprocessor we are using low level language, that is assembly language programming. Okay, so then we will see some basic advantage or disadvantages of this language, and later on we will see some instruction types based upon word size. So let us start now. So your computer or microprocessor is only understand the binary numbers, that is the numbers which are in the format of 0 or 1, or you can say it is in the state of high state or the low state. And this binary numbers or this code is called as machine code, or you can say it is a machine language, because of the computer or your microprocessor are the electronics devices, and which can understand or which can tell the difference between only the on state or off state of an electric circuit. For example, you have this machine language code is like 010100 and so on. So this is your machine language, or you can say the machine codes. So basically your programming language are classified into two types. One is called as high level language and another one is called as low level language. So when we talk about the high level language, the examples of this high level language are C, C++, Java, Python, etc. And these high level languages are you can say user friendly, or you can say it's programmer friendly, or it is easy to understand. Here you can see that it is these high level languages are easy to understand. It is simple to debug. Debugging means the detecting and removal of the error in that program. And the last point you can see here that it is a high level language is less memory efficient. Okay, but remember that for high level language we required compiler or interpreter for translation. Translation means for converting your high level language to the machine language. Why it is converter is required? Because our computer or microprocessor only understand binary numbers. So even if you write a code, or even if you write a program in C, C++ or Java programming language, you have to convert that program or the code into a machine language code. And the circuitry which required or which is converting this high level language to machine language is called as compiler, or you can say interpreter, or these are called as translators, you can say. So next is your low level language. As you can see that this high level language is user friendly, because it is user friendly. So low level language is, you can say, machine friendly language. Okay, but it is again tough to understand. Machine language program, or you can say low level language program, is tough to understand. It is complex to debug. Debug means we are it is very difficult, or you can say the detection and removal of existing potential error in the program. So it is complex to debug as compared to your high level language. It is again high memory efficient language. This is one just advantages for this high low level languages. It is high memory efficient and it needs assembler. So here you can see in high level language you require compiler or interpreter. In low level language you require assembler. So assembly language program is there. So in the next, let us see the compiler, interpreter, and your assembler. So compilers converts your high level language program into machine level language program. That is, you can see here in this block diagram, that is, you have a source code which is written in the high level language, and then you have a compiler which converts your source code, that is your high level language program, into your machine language, or you can say in object code. Okay, so compiler do that work. For example, you have seen this compiler using C, C++, or you can say advanced C and then Java. These languages uses compilers. So compilers is converting your high level language to your machine level language or machine language. Okay, so in compiler the source code is translated to object code. Okay, and if there is no error in the program, so complete program will run, it means all at once. Okay, and then if there is an error, so compiler specifies that error at the end of the compilation with specific line numbers. Okay, so next we will see interpreters. So in interpreters which converts single statement of source program into machine language program. In compiler what happens, it is not a single statement, it is complete all programs will compile. In interpreters, it converts single statement, that is line by line execution is there. For example, in Python language or MATLAB program, when you run in this program, so interpreter converts the single statement of source program into machine codes. So if there is an error while while converting, so it will not execute that program. Once you remove that error, so again later on it will convert your source code to a machine code. Okay, then next one is your assembler. So assembler is a computer program which converts your assembly language program to machine language program, and it is used in low level languages like assembly language programming. Okay, that we will see. Next is your assembly language and machine language. Whenever user writes a program in assembly language means in terms of mnemonics, that is move, add, this kind of instructions are there. So in instructions, if any user writes a program in assembly language program, then microprocessor, as you know that microprocessor understand only machine language, that is binary language, or you can say language of zeros and ones. So assembler is used which will convert this assembly language programs into machine code, that is 0 and 1 format. Next we will see opcodes and your operands. What is opcodes? Opcodes is a short form of operation code. An opcode is a single instruction that can be executed by the CPU. For example, you have this move instruction, mov or add. These are the opcodes, or you can say the mnemonic forms or opcodes. And what is operand? Operands are the data on which the operation is performed. For example, you have these instructions move a comma b. That means we are moving the content of b register onto a register. So this is your, this a and b are the operands and move is your opcode. So here opcode is move instructions, total instructions, and then the two operands are registered named as a and b. Next we will see the instruction types according to the word size. As you know that assembly language program should convert to machine code for storage and execution of the program. Before execution, your assembly language program should be converted to machine language program. Okay, so the length of your machine language code determines the length of the program. So number of so you can see that and this again in turns determines the amount of memory required for the program. Basically, your program defines the whatever requirement of memory is there for your program. So basically, your instruction types are classified into three groups. So 8085 instruction set are classified into three groups according to the word size, that is one word or one byte instruction, okay, two word or two byte instruction, three word or three byte instruction. So in next slide we will see one byte instruction or one word one byte instruction. Okay, so the instruction which requires only one byte in machine language is called as one byte instructions. So here you can see that it includes opcode and operand in the same byte. So only one byte is required, and your opcode, that is this, and your operands this are in the same byte. That means it requires only one memory location. Okay, for example, see here MOV, that is move C comma A. That means we are moving or copying the content of A to the register C. So this total instruction is there. For this complete instruction, the opcode is 4FH, or you can say that machine code is 4FH. So single memory location is required to store this 4FH. Got this? The second instructions, you can see that add B. So add B instruction, what it does, it will add the content of B to the accumulator A and then store the result in the accumulator. So add B, this is ATH, is a machine code, you can say that, or opcode for this particular instruction. Again it requires one memory location, or it is one byte of instruction. As it is one byte of instructions, it requires one memory location. You can correlate like this way. So similarly, this is HLT instruction. and HLT instructions is opcode is 76H. Remember here, you don't require to memorize these opcodes. Okay, you just have to remember your assembly language or mnemonics for your particular program. Next we will go for next we will see 2 byte instruction. So 2 byte instruction is basically the instructions which required two bytes. The first byte specified the opcode and the second byte specified the operands. So it is 2 byte instructions. That means it requires two memory location. For example, this MVI A comma 32H. So this is nothing but the move immediately the value that is 32H into the accumulator. So it requires two bytes or two memory location, or the first byte specifies the operand, first byte specifies the opcode or operation code. So operation code for this particular instruction MVI A comma 32H is 3E. So this first byte represents your 3E, and then your second byte represents the operand. So operand is your 32H. This data is represented by your second byte. So 3E is your first byte represents, and then second byte represents this data 32H. Similarly MVIB comma F2H. So it is again 2 byte instruction. The first byte represents your opcode for this particular instruction, that is 06H, and the second byte represents the data, that is F2H. The next instruction is your 3 byte instruction. So 3 byte instruction, it is first specify the operation code, or you can say the opcode, and second and third byte specifies the 16-bit operands, which is either 16-bit numbers or address of the memory location. So it can be a number, it can be address, or it can be a data, you can say. Okay, for example, this is LXI. So one more point is there which left, that is 3 byte instructions require 3 consecutive memory locations. So where 3 consecutive memory locations are used, so first byte or first memory location is used for the opcode. For example, this LXI H2050H. Okay, so 21H is the opcode for this particular instruction, and then the data bytes, that is this data or memory, you can say data bytes. So 50H, that is your lower address of this particular location, that is 50H uh, is stored at memory at for second byte, and then 20H is stored at, or byte specifies your the address. Okay, so LXI H2050. So first memory location utilize this 21H, second and third memory locations require utilizes this 50H and 20H. So basically it is 3 byte instruction. Second example is LDA, that is load accumulator directly. So the content of 3070H is loaded to accumulator. Okay, so 3A is the opcode for this LDA instruction, and then 70, this is lower address. 70 is given in second byte, and this 30 given in third byte. So this is 3 byte instruction. Again I am repeating this 3 byte instruction. The first byte specifies the operation code, for example 3AH, and second and third byte specifies the operands, that is 70H and 30H. So thank you for watching my videos. Thank you.